a story about a girl who came my way.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the fuck off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the fuck off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two fucks, but I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can fucking die with them or not. I'm not going to.
Enough is enough! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane! Everybody strap in! I'm about to open some fucking windows.
Forces and protecting the population and minimizing civilian casualties have long been a cornerstone of the counterinsurgency doctrine. Civilian casualties have long been a cornerstone of the counterinsurgency doctrine.
Well, no one told me about her, the way she lied. Well, no one told me about her, how many people cried. But it's too late to say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there. Well, no one told me about her. What could I do? Well, no one told me about her, though they all knew. But it's too late to say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there. But it's too late to say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there.
Midnight with the stars and you. Midnight and a rendezvous. Your eyes held a message tender, saying I surrender all my love to you.
Our other top story today, an aggressive passenger on a flight from LAX to Salt Lake City. People on board calling him a, quote, loose cannon. officially welcome you now to the Fox 11 News at 5. I'm Alex Michelson.
And I'm Christine Devine. Thanks for being with us. We've been hearing horror stories lately about aggressive airline passengers harassing the flight crew and frightening everyone on board.
Yeah, Fox 11 has obtained this video of a guy who was so agitated he was growling. And that's not all. Chelsea Edwards live for us at LAX with that video. Chelsea.
Yeah, Alex, passengers on that flight say it was just disturbing, it was surreal, and just downright bizarre at times. Take a look. The passenger appears to growl, snarl, and chew on his mask, visibly agitated. Passenger appears to growl, snarl, and chew on his mask, visibly agitated.
Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office releases the mugshot of a Delta passenger who had to be physically restrained while the plane was landing at the Armstrong International Airport.
And here's what we know this afternoon. Jefferson Parish deputies identified the passenger as 39-year-old Nelson Montgomery of New Orleans. Witnesses say during last night's flight, Montgomery first harmed himself before putting a flight attendant in a chokehold on board the Delta plane, holding what they thought was a shard of broken glass to their neck. And deputies say the flight attendant suffered 2 minor cuts that were treated at the scene there. And a passenger says it took 8 people to take the man down until deputies boarded the plane.
Next thing I know, she's in a rear naked choke and he's got the shot glass to his throat.
So that's when it started to get violent?
Yes.
Is that when he cut his own throat?
No, he had already cut his throat.
Okay, so you were already...
He was already bleeding when he came up to the front. There's a blood trail. There was a blood trail up the seats from where he was touching seats as he came through.
Montgomery was booked on charges of aggravated battery, disturbing the peace, and simple battery. Deputies say this is the 3rd airport arrest they made just this week alone.
Shocking video just as Memorial Day travel kicks into high gear. A disturbed man opens a plane door during a flight while panicked passengers grip their armrests. And it went on for 5 long minutes. So how could this possibly happen? Airplane doors are supposed to be kept airtight and locked. Les Trent spoke with an aviation expert to find out.
Absolute terror. A passenger just opened the airplane door mid-flight. A feat said to be impossible. 194 passengers are on board, and they're getting battered by the intense wind. Imagine how they must be freaking out. The plane was 600 feet off the ground, minutes from landing in South Korea when it happened.
Witnesses say the passenger was sitting next to the emergency door. He apparently showed no signs that anything was wrong when he suddenly removed a plastic cover, pulled a lever, and the door slid open. How is that even possible?
Today, everyone is wondering how the heck this happened.
How the heck do you open the door not supposed to open midair?
It's supposed to be impossible.
How did it happen?
I think the most important thing to identify in this story is the phase of flight that this occurred in. This was at the landing of the aircraft when they are going in for their final approach. It actually is possible to open an emergency exit door.
The man could not have opened the door at 20 or 30,000 feet.
It is physically impossible to open that door when the cabin is pressurized and it's at its normal cruising altitude.
9 people had to be treated at the hospital for breathing difficulties. Talk about scary.
Starting with a woman who was removed from a Dallas flight after an outburst has now gone viral. Take a look.
That back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
As you just heard, the woman was pointing to the back on the plane saying someone was not real. American Airlines confirms the plane was heading from DFW to Orlando, but had to return to its gate due to this woman's outburst.
This is a new video made by another passenger who was on the flight the woman on the plane was on, who became distraught when she realized she was supposedly sitting next to a shapeshifter.
Hey, stop the fucking plane. Stop the plane! What's going on? Stop it. Stop it. I need to get the fuck off this plane. A volunteer. Can I get a volunteer to sit in the house? Here, fucking see you after this. See what happens. See what happens after this. See what happens. Where's your bag? Is your bag still on your trip? See what the fuck happens after this. I don't even give a fuck about my shit.
License verified, disarm door, standby for all calls.
What I'm understanding from this police report, if this even is the official police report, is that this person who caused a major crisis, a major disturbance on an airplane where they had to deplane it, and she was given a written criminal trespass notice that she had to sign, and police officers were there, they allow her to get into her Uber and leave. And yet, I'm the crazy one for making videos about this. Now the article ends with, there you have it. I have been able to exclusively confirm with authorities that Tiffany Gomas, age 38, of Azalea, Texas, that MFer is not real woman. Now, a couple weeks after this story broke out, everybody, and I mean everybody, was backmasking her photo. They were looking for this woman everywhere, including myself. I was trying to see if any photo resembled this woman. Oddly enough, a few weeks later, or a week later, this person's picture appears as Tiffany Gomas, and they're saying this is this woman. Even though when this incident broke out and a couple weeks after this incident broke out, we could not find this photo anywhere. And this person's social media has been completely scrubbed. Apparently, she's a vice president with Alleviate Brand Marketing. You would think a vice president would have photos everywhere. There would be a lot of photos of this woman, but there's barely any photos anywhere. And the only time we've seen photos of this person was about a few weeks after this incident occurred. I mean, I really don't know what to tell you all anymore. I don't. If you really want to buy this narrative that the police let go a woman who caused a major disturbance on a flight where it had to be deplaned, she didn't even explain the whole why she said that MFer is not real. Like I said, everything that we saw on camera was never once mentioned in the police report. The only thing we see is that she felt unsafe on the plane, and she blamed the passenger next to her for stealing the AirPods, which we don't, again, see on camera at all. We can blame ghosts, we can blame mental illness, we can blame drugs, alcohol, artificial intelligence, but the fact of the matter is, this woman's gone. If this is an official police report, then this woman went bye-bye. But my question is, why are there so many different narratives coming out? And now we have this police report that sounds very, very off.
Yo! Hey, mate, everyone is, come on, please. Go! Marco and Tony Barrera, it's your time. Look at everyone filming, man. What's wrong? Whoa! Yo! Get him out! What the fuck is happening right now?
In a dramatic turn of events on a flight from Zadar, Croatia to London Stansted, a man caused panic among passengers as he allegedly attempted to open the plane's door. The incident, which took place on Friday night, unfolded in a terrifying manner as the individual, believed to be a 27-year-old British boxer, suddenly stood up from his seat and began shouting. Startled onlookers watched as he made his way towards the front of the aircraft, demanding that the crew open the door. Startling footage captured the intense scene as the enraged passenger, with a clenched fist, forcefully pushed past a crew member standing in the aisle. However, two courageous passengers swiftly intervened, leaping out of their seats to restrain the man, eventually bringing him to the ground. Gasps of shock filled the air as witnesses scrambled to move out of harm's way while the confrontation unfolded. The plane, which was in the process of preparing for takeoff, was reportedly on the runway when the incident occurred. Passengers on the flight, many of whom were returning from the Hideout Festival in Croatia, filmed the shocking episode. One witness managed to record the Brit dressed in a white t-shirt and shorts being escorted off the plane and dragged across the tarmac. The local authorities, specifically the Zadar Police Department, swiftly took action, arresting the 27-year-old British individual on the tarmac. An investigation has been launched to delve into the incident, which is currently being treated as a disruption of public order. The man's identity, though identified in reports as a professional boxer, has not been disclosed. Ryanair, the airline operating the flight, issued an apology to the affected passengers, expressing regret for any inconvenience caused by the disruptive behavior of the individual. The spokesperson for the airline stated that the flight returned to the stand after the passenger became disruptive during preparations for takeoff. The situation was resolved with the assistance of local police, allowing the flight to continue safely to London Stansted. As authorities continue to investigate these incidents and address the challenges posed by disruptive passengers, ensuring the safety and security of air travel remains a paramount concern for airlines and regulatory bodies alike.
Man who freaked out on his flight, we really couldn't hear what he was saying. We were pretty much guessing because there was a very obnoxious woman that kept yelling, "Yo, yo, yo." So we really couldn't make out what he was saying. But I found another video that shows a different angle, and the audio does sound a lot better. And I did pick up on something he was saying.
Mate, just get out. Hey, mate, just everyone is, come on, please. Go! Marco and Tony Barrera, it's your time! Look at everyone filming!
In the original video, we all hear him say a name, and then he says, "It's your time." But in this new cleaned up version where the audio is better, you can hear him say a name, and then he says, "You died, you died." And then he starts getting freaked out and runs away. It also does sound like he says the name Marco Antonio Barrera, who is a professional boxer and who is still alive. But we don't know exactly what he is saying. It does sound like the boxer's name, but then again, I do hear something else. But I do hear him say, "You died, you died." He gets freaked out and he starts running away. He gets so scared that two men who look exactly like him, again, but I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole because that's going to put me deeper into the rabbit hole than I already am. But he is so freaked out by what he is saying. After saying, "You died, you died," he just starts running. Now, as I said previously, he is known as a British boxer. They don't know his name, they don't know his age, but the media does know he is a British boxer. And I am thinking, if it is drugs related, if it is alcohol related, and he is a boxer, he has the mentality of fighting to defend himself. Wouldn't his first instinct to be to swing on everybody, to fight everybody? Because he's scared, he's high on drugs. I would think his brain would start telling him, start dropping people, but he doesn't. This man is blatantly scared of something he's seeing that he says, "You died, you died," and he has to tell the pilots, and he's running away. Now, here's a creepy thought I had. Now, I did Google the name Marco Antonio Barrera, and I put in obituary, and a few things did come up. Now, what if the person he is sitting next to tells him, "I'm Marco Antonio Barrera," and then, they're talking, and the man who freaks out Googles this person, and he sees their picture in an obituary, and they're dead. And he notices that he's sitting next to a ghost, and he starts to freak out. We don't know exactly what happened to this man on this plane. We don't know what he saw, because again, nobody gets up to record his area. Nobody gets up to record his location, which is also very odd because I have seen multiple airplane videos of people freaking out, including one man who was wearing a Trump hat who was kicked off his flight, and they were zooming in on his seating location. But when it comes to this man, and when it comes to the woman who freaked out, nobody bothered to do so. That is the part I find very suspicious. Who is the person that was sitting next to him? It wasn't Marco Antonio Barrera, the boxer, because I Googled the boxer and he doesn't mention being on this flight. Did he actually say that name? But you can clearly hear him say, "You died, you died." Now, if you do want to go with the shapeshifter theory, is it possible whoever was on this flight shapeshifted into a deceased person, and this person who freaked out, this man who freaked out, knew this person was dead? Now, if we're going to go with the artificial intelligence theory, is it possible the skin that they are using for these robotics, for these artificial intelligent humanoids, are of dead people, and they used a face of somebody he knew that died? This just adds more to the mystery and to the puzzle. But now we know what exactly freaked this man out, is that he thought whoever he was sitting next to had already died or was dead. I am just so intrigued and addicted by these two stories. Not only his story, but the story of the woman who freaked out on her flight. And these two flights just only happened a day apart. There was another flight that happened all the way back in 2018. There was a woman on Ryanair Air, the same Ryanair Air that Tom Cowling was flying on when he had his freak out, the British boxer. Now, there are quite a couple similarities when it comes to her freak out and Tom Cowling's freak out, because she says she sees the devil. Now, when Tom Cowling was tackled as he was running to the pilots, some people, including myself, heard him say they're demonic. And of course, just like Tom Cowling's video, the woman who had a freak out on her flight where she said that MFer is not real, and the Chinese man, we still don't see who this woman is accusing of being the devil, which is absolute craziness because she's having a full-on freak out. She is very terrified, and nobody pans their camera to the location that she is pointing to. And you have to ask yourself, how many of these incidents exist that we are not aware about? And we just found out about the Chinese man who had a freak out on his flight that took place in January just last week, where he was seeing people from Hollow Earth on his plane. We don't know exactly what has happened to this woman. All accounts, her and her husband were taken off this flight, but we don't know their names or what exactly happened to them afterwards. Passengers did state she was just sitting there, she was calm, and all of a sudden she gets up screaming, "That woman over there is the devil." Now, all these stories do share a similar pattern. All these people are seeing non-human entities on their flights. And it begs the question, why planes? I did do some research, and I cannot find anything like this on cruises, buses, trains. Now, there are chaotic moments on trains, but it's mainly people fighting each other. Fighting and commuter trains go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly. But it's something about our skies, these planes, where people are having these very unique experiences and seeing these entities. Is it possible that the veil is so thin in the skies that we are able to see what is really around us? And again, why are these people feeling so compelled to keep the recording on the person freaking out, but not record the location that they're freaking out about? I just find that to be so...
各位旅客，这里是雾南广播，请您在座位上坐好，不必惊慌，感谢您的配合。打死！他妈的，重开！不想重开吗？对不对？一辈子给他们努力挣打工。我不干，什么代表的？
July has been a terrifying month, with people seeing things on airplanes that are completely freaking them out. And in July alone, we have 3 different events in 3 different continents. First it happened in Europe, and then it happened in America, North America. And now it's happening in Asia, China. Are all these people in such a short period of time having a psychotic break? Or is something else happening here? And these 3 people do have something in common, that they're seeing someone that is not human, with this man in China seeing someone that is from the hollow earth. If you do not know what the hollow earth theory is, it's basically the earth is hollow inside, and there's very advanced people, advanced civilizations living inside the earth. This was first discovered by an admiral in the Navy, Admiral Richard Byrd, in the 1940s, who flew his plane to Antarctica. He flew into a hole in Antarctica, and as he kept flying, he noticed the scenery suddenly changed. It was now a luscious green area, full of trees, exotic wildlife he has never seen before, and when he landed, he was approached by an advanced civilization, and they told him, if we do not take care of the earth, they will come back and take over. And I do find it very fascinating that this man in China said that whatever happened to the Malaysian Flight 370, the flight that disappeared, is going to happen to this plane. I made a short on the Malaysian Flight 370, how there was a recording that the captain said that be careful, SOS, they are not human.
Did you know there was a reported black box recording of the mysterious Malaysian Flight 370 that disappeared on March 8th of 2014? The box recorded the captain saying, "Danger, SOS. It is dire for you to evacuate. Be cautious. They are not human. SOS. Danger, SOS." The recording would also contain a series of coordinated numbers. The YouTube video showing the voicemail would quickly be set to private, and Snopes would quickly call this a conspiracy theory.
Another similarity I have noticed between the man in China, the British boxer, and the woman on the American Airlines flight is once again nobody is recording or releasing video of that seating area, of that seating location, or the person that he is talking about. Why is nobody recording the person that he's calling Hollow Earth people? Again, we see the camera away from the commotion. And this has been a common theme in all three freakouts. We're having people freak out on planes in different parts of the world, and I am wondering, could South America or Africa be next? Are these crisis actors preparing for a global event? That's why we're seeing it in different parts of the world. Because whatever is going to happen is going to take over the entire Earth. And this is why I strongly believe this has something to do with Project Bluebeam and the fake alien UFO invasion. If that is not it, is it possible that our skies, the veil is so thin thanks to things like CERN? Is it possible our skies have now become a wormhole for entities to cross over? But no matter what the theory is, something is still happening here. We have 3 different people in 3 different parts of the world in 1 month freaking out about somebody that is not human on their flight. Can you really sit back and look at this in 1 month and say this is mental illness?
Planes go up, planes go down. What planes don't do is just vanish off the face of the earth.
Diego Garcia. That's where that first Malaysian plane is. That's where it landed. It had 4 scientists on it. Huh? 20 scientists, but 4 had filed for patents. It was Malaysia, but they worked out of Austin, Texas for Texas Instrument. All right. And the ones behind that plane was Texas Instrument, the government, and Boeing, who made the plane. And everybody is stupid enough to believe that a plane almost a block long can just disappear. With the electronics we have, all the technology we have, the next generation of cars will come out, there'll be no driver. So when I was talking to this scientist about it, I said, well, they're paddy wagons too. He said, yeah, why you ask that? I said, well, there's just more room to put riders. No, that's where we are. About 10 years ago, I'm with a scientist, and he's saying to me, he said, you know, the smart car, when it come out, there can be no more automobile fatalities. I said, why you want to mess with me, man? They been had that. Why you think airplanes don't run into one another? Huh? I used to do that when I was a child. I used to play with them little, what's those?
Magnets?
Magnets. And if you don't put them right, they can't hit. That's all y'all done. And they want to come convince me that y'all breathing. You're not. Just been here. Okay? And so when you stop and think about, you know, the stuff, so we got 4 of those top scientists that had filed for patents worth $400 billion. So if 1, 2, 3 of us and your brother, 4, we filed for patents. And then here's a friend of yours who's with us. So 5 of us file for patents. If we die before the patent is granted, then your brother, who wasn't on the plane with us, he owns them all. So those 4 scientists, and the 5th person was the Carlyle Group. They own them all now. The patent was granted 3 days after the plane was missing.
Wow.
Okay, and so what I'm saying is, this is the game, and if you can't follow that thread, then you don't see it.
That's crazy.
What were the patents for?
Huh?
What were the patents for?
Oh, the patents was, you heard people talk about they're gonna one day inject you and can control you. Well, these guys come up with something, they don't have to inject you. They just put in this room and you come in and you smell it. That's what it was for.
Okay.
And that's why they killed them. They might have not killed them. They might just let them sit there and die.
Climbing up on South Street.